Alright, so the Castoris kit just dropped, and let me tell you, it's a little confusing. We might see some tweaks down the line, but for now, I'll do my best to break down her current kit. Let's talk about this awesome kit. It's seriously something else. This girl has got the most complicated kit in the whole game. She's using mechanics we've never even seen before. So, let's dive into her talents first, because that's going to help you understand her kit better. Her talent is really unique. It's all about her Stamen Nova mechanic. Don't worry about the fancy name, it's just how she charges up her ultimate ability. Basically, this mechanic is based on the total levels of all the characters on the battlefield. Multiply that sum by 100, and you've got the cap for this mechanic. So in a team of level 80 characters, you're looking at a cap of 32,000. She gains charge for Stamen Nova every time an ally loses HP. The more HP she drains from her teammates, the quicker she can rack up those charges. When she hits max charge, she can unleash her ultimate. Plus, she gets a nice damage boost every time she gains charge, which lasts for 3 turns. Easy to keep those stacks maxed out. So, you're probably wondering how she sucks up her allies' HP to get those Stamen Nova charges, right? Well, her skill is the main move how she gets those charges. This move basically takes away 40% of her allies' HP on the field. It sounds wild, but it's necessary to power up her ultimate ability in a normal team. This move should give Castoris a good chunk of the charge she needs. That means she can unleash her ultimate after just a few times using this skill. On top of draining HP, Castoris also dishes out quantum damage in a big area when she uses this skill. The damage is based on her max HP. And like other HP draining moves, if her teammates are low on HP, this skill will drop them to just 1 HP. That was just the basic version of her skill. When she summons her Memo Sprite after using her ultimate, her skill gets even stronger. It deals more damage and sets up joint attacks. But hold up, we'll dive into that enhanced skill later. Let's focus on her ultimate first. This is where things really heat up in her kit. Firstly, upon using her ultimate, she summons her Memo Sprite called Dead Dragon and advances its action forward by 100%, meaning that her Memo Sprite will take an action as soon as it is summoned on the field. Now secondly, her ultimate also creates a special terrain on the field. And this terrain is kind of crazy because it reduces the all-type resistance of all the enemies by a total of 25%. Honestly, an all-type resistance penetration is one of the best buffs in the game. Now you see why I mentioned how crazy her ultimate's terrain is, right? And get this, her Memo Sprite also gets buffed along with her, so it packs a serious punch. This thing is gonna dish out some major damage, no doubt. Interestingly, despite what we originally heard about her abilities, her dragon is actually pretty quick, with a base speed of 140. So it's going to be making moves quite frequently. After her dragon takes action 3 times, or if its HP hits 0, it disappears and clears the terrain. And remember how I said her skill gets a boost after using her ultimate? Well, brace yourself because her enhanced skill drains a whopping 50% current HP from all allies on the field. Once that HP drain happens, she and her Memo Sprite team up for a powerful AoE attack that deals quantum damage based on her max HP. I kinda wish her enhanced skill did more than just damage, and HP drain though. It's mainly good for maintaining the damage stacks from her talent. Oh, and here's a fun fact. While her dragon is out, Castoris can't build up her Stamen Nova stacks. So, now you see why that HP drain from her enhanced skill isn't all that great, right? Moving on to her technique, it's similar to our lightning emanator, Acheron. It instantly takes out normal enemies that step into her field, which totally suits her character. Using her technique also activates her Memo Sprite, without needing her ultimate. But there are a couple of downsides. Her Memo Sprite starts with only half of its max HP, and Castoris sacrifices 40% current HP from all allies when she joins the battle. Alright, let's take a look at what her Memo Sprite can do, guys. So the first thing it can do is act like a damage sponge for all your buddies. Basically, if one of your allies is about to get knocked out and their HP drops to 1, the Memo Sprite steps in and takes the hit instead, but at a whopping 500% of the original damage. Pretty cool, right? It's like having a tough bodyguard. Next up, its second talent boosts all the damage your team deals when it's out on the field for 2 turns. It's like a little damage boost party for your squad. And then we have the third talent, which is super unique. When the Memo Sprite disappears, it goes out with a bang, exploding and hitting enemies randomly with 6 instances of quantum damage. The damage multipliers on this explosion are crazy high. If all the hits land on one enemy, it's gonna be a huge amount of damage. It's wild to think about. The Memo Sprite doesn't just explode randomly. It has two other skills up its sleeve. One does a bit of quantum damage to all enemies, while the other one is a bit special. It lets the Memo Sprite sacrifice 25% of its max HP to dish out massive damage to all enemies on the field, getting stronger each time you use it and not ending your turn. You can use this bad boy up to 3 times per turn, racking up some serious AoE quantum damage. Now let's talk about this character's traces. Her first trace, it increases their respective speed by 40%, when she or her Memo Sprite is above 50% HP. It's pretty wild, right? And don't stress, this boost doesn't mess with her Poet Set bonus. It's like an extra speed boost on the side, so she still gets all the crit rate goodness from that set. Moving on to her second trace, when her Memo Sprite isn't out, healing allies helps charge up her Stamen Nova. That means healers like Luocha and Lingsha can really shine with her around. And when the Memo Sprite is out, extra healing keeps it healthy too. And her last trace is when her Memo Sprite disappears. She gives a little health boost to all allies. It's like a safety net for when it's gone, so you're not left hanging with low health. Now, let's talk about her Light Cone. It ups her max HP, which is awesome for Castariche. Plus, when she takes damage on her turn, she and her Memo Sprite can ignore some defense for a few turns. That's a big advantage right there. And there's more. Her Light Cone speeds up her actions when the Memo Sprite vanishes, making it easier for her to summon it back quickly. So that's the lowdown on her abilities. I hope I explained it well for you all. Overall, Castarice is a powerhouse with a unique twist. Her drawbacks make her kit more challenging, but she dishes out serious damage in return. She's shaping up to be a top contender, especially with how well she pairs up with Memo Sprite supports like Sunday and healers. Keep an eye on this one for sure.